the newest episode of Teen Wolf TV Time with me. Today's episode is called I.E.D, which is short for Intermittent Explosive Disorder. Yikes. We start this episode off with a girl fight. Does anybody remember that song from like way back when? Brooke Valentine, I don't fight or argue, I just hit that trick with a bottle. Anyways, that's what Violet and that blonde girl whose name escapes me were doing. Like, they were having like a full-on brawl on that school bus. That girl almost got away, but then she made like a cardinal mistake of trusting a stranger. A very cute stranger, but a stranger all the same. And you learned your lesson when you got that dagger right through the chest. Which disproves what I said last week when I said that I guess Violet is the one that does the dirty work while Garrett just sits around and looks pretty. He actually got his hands dirty this episode. Just barely. A few times. But he was getting things done. He's not just a pretty face. He can actually be lethal. That little blonde girl proved it. Sorry about it, girl. Rest in peace. And now it's time for Sleuth Styles to connect all the pieces with his little clear murder board thing and red tape and things and stuff of that nature. Where he gets these things, I'm not sure. I think the sheriff might need to be a little bit more concerned. But I guess it's in the blood, crime fighting and things. Yeah, so in the very next scene, they take him the evidence, so I guess he's more than okay with his teenage son solving supernatural crimes for him. I guess he's like the Bobby to Scott and Styles' Sam and Dean. Look at that fandom crossover. I believe that we need to have another moment of silence for Allison because Scott was very affected when her name came up. Time's up. Kira's spent so much time with her foot in her mouth, like, girl, just shut up and let your dad talk. He tried to interrupt you like 3 or 4 times, and you were just like, oh my god, I'm gonna come tell you about the Deadpool and dying, and yeah, somebody's after us, and was her mother's name on that list? It's probably on like the 3rd part, because she's definitely a supernatural creature. If they want Kira, then they should get Mommy too. But that's neither here nor there, because Dad was just talking about you being on the lacrosse team, and thinking that nobody was going to find out. If you had just waited, you would not have raised suspicion with your father, but as far as things go, he didn't seem too concerned because you walked away and the conversation was never revisited, so I guess you're not in trouble for being on the boys lacrosse team or for being potentially murdered by a pair of crazy teenagers. Okay, so I have to like actively remind myself that Liam / Dylan Sprayberry is an underage individual. Because he is very pretty, and it is very concerning that I enjoy looking at him so much because it's like illegal. But I guess that doesn't mean anything to Derek because here he is yet again in the boys' locker room, like choking a minor. Like, this boy is wearing nothing but a wife beater, and you were just all in his space, Derek, grabbing him by the throat. He is not Styles. He might not respond well to that. Like, he's gonna kill you. Because you're losing your powers, friend. And he is gaining them. We might want to pick our battles a little more wisely. So, was Derek attacking Liam, like, fresh off the heels of a workout session? Like a self-control pop quiz? Because he definitely failed. But that wasn't really his fault because endorphins and stuff were running high. His testosterone was high. Because he had just lifted weights, he was doing manly things, and then you attack him and expect him to just be like, oh, okay, hey, how are you? I don't know you. You're a scruffy old man in the boys' locker room. Of course I'm going to get upset when you try to, like, hem me up against a locker. Like, I don't understand why Derek thought that this was, like, a good lesson in self-control. But whatever, Scott, this was your plan. Derek seems to have faith in you as a alpha and seems more than willing to follow you to the end of the earth to make sure that this little pack of yours that you're building is like #alright. I guess since he's not an alpha anymore, he might as well be like the alpha mentor because who else is Scott really gonna ask? Peter? No. So, I might have wanted Lydia to stab Malia in the face with that pencil while she was hovering over her. I mean, that would have been one less name on the list. Maybe Lydia could have got a cut of the money, even though she's on the list. Maybe, if she stabbed Malia, that would cancel her out on the list so that she could live, and then I wouldn't have to deal with Malia anymore. No offense, Malia, like, you're just really hard to like. I'm sorry. You're getting a little bit better, but not so much better that I still don't want you to get stabbed. Sorry, girl. So, like I said earlier, Styles is coming off a little weird, doing stuff, like looking at crime scene photos in class. That's a little, like, on the wrong side of Dexter for me, and people who don't know that there are supernatural things happening probably think that you're insane. Maybe this is why you can only get laid by were-coyotes who stalk you and bruise you. I'm just saying, honestly. I'm just saying. I always love how the pack wonders how people know about them. They're about as subtle as a pile of bricks to the face. Like, they're always out in public doing something, trolling around in the woods. Like, it's not a surprise that, like, Danny figured it out or that anybody else would figure it out, because you guys are not subtle. You don't keep secrets well. You talk about this stuff out in the open, like at your locker, where anybody passing by can hear you. You don't whisper, and you're always doing something you don't have any business doing. So it's not like a secret that people know that you're a werewolf, kitsune, were-coyote, banshee, possessed Japanese spirit, trickster, fox. Like, I don't understand why you're still asking, like, oh my god, how did you know? Because you might as well send out a freaking newsletter that says your every move, because you don't keep secrets very well. You don't. And in the same vein, Garrett and Violet are in, like, the chemistry lab creating, like, bioterrorism weapons, and nobody notices. It's like a wide open classroom, and they have a lacrosse stick with a blade, and they're pouring chemicals on it, which is wolfsbane, I know, but, like, people walking by wouldn't know. And nobody just finds an issue with this. Like, maybe they need to get a security officer or something for that school, or maybe a better guidance counselor since Miss Morella's at Eichen House. Whatever. They need to help these kids because they are going insane. They're building weapons and turning into supernatural creatures, and nobody seems to be concerned. I'm concerned, so you should be concerned. Let's start a petition. Put down the one about the extreme close-ups of Deputy Parrish, because that's probably already done and happening, because it seems to be happening more often, like his pretty face. But we need to get, like, a therapist, a social worker, somebody in place at Beacon Hills High School to help these children, like, not be making weapons and turning into creatures and fighting crime and things. You need to study for your math test. That's what you need to do. World history, not lycanthropy history. That is not what you need to know. You need to know why George Washington chopped down the damn cherry tree. That's what you need to be focused on. Okay, no, here's Brett coming at Liam sideways. Like, you are from another school, and he is just trying to be nice and shake hands, and you are being a dick. So you need to stop it. Oh, it was just a car. It didn't seem like that nice of a car. But I guess it's on principle. Like, they're mad because, oh my god, it's Coach and you disrespect him. I don't know what happened with Coach. I don't care to know what happened. I just need Brett to chill out and stop being rude. And here comes Styles trying to defuse the situation. That's a firm handshake you got there. You didn't shake hands, but I understand what you were doing. You were trying to defuse the situation with sarcasm and humor. I guess it worked, but at the same time, it's like, Styles, man, come on. Just let Liam punch him one time. It's okay. He seems to have it coming. He's cute, though. And as we find out later, he's a werewolf, so he could take the punch. But it never happens because they drag Liam off to, like, a really weird homoerotic shower scene in the dark in the locker room where things of varying import seem to happen and various creep factor. Like, Liam was choked in there earlier, and now they're, like, choking him again in the shower, and it's really kind of weird. That's what they do. Now we find out that Liam has intermittent explosive disorder. So take an already volatile person and give him the strength of 10 men, some fangs, some claws, and some glowing eyes, and we expect him to behave himself? I do not think so. It is only a matter of time before he kills someone or causes some kind of unholy mayhem that brings down the ire of more hunters, not just the Calaveras or Chris Argent, who seems to, like, really be out of the hunting business. But I spy with my little eye a little boy who's gonna make a mistake pretty soon. I guess Mason was who most of us were when that guy stepped off the bus, because he was practically foaming at the mouth, salivating for the D on that guy who's, like, trolling your best friend. At least Liam took that in stride, because if my friend was, like, thirsty for somebody who had wronged me, I might have an attitude, But I can appreciate the fact that Mason is just like, look, do what you gotta do with him and then let me have the leftovers. That is a thirsty gay boy 101. Like, everything ends in let me get at it. That was a hasty generalization, but I stand by it. It must be really hard for Chris Argent because he keeps having to like pick off members of his own family. Like, nobody's still around. His wife's dead. His sister is doing the most. His daughter's dead. He's probably gonna have to kill Kate again. And I don't know what happened to Gerard. I forget. Like, I'm thinking he might be dead. I'm hoping he might be dead. Didn't he like get a blood transfusion from somebody and then die? I honestly like blocked Gerard's entire existence out of my mind, so somebody's gonna have to refresh me in a comment. Y'all have been doing really well about like refreshing me about things that are happening in comments. I really appreciate it because I can't keep up sometimes. So that's another thing that you can refresh me on. Like, isn't Gerard dead or am I crazy? I know Deucalion's not dead, but he's irrelevant. I just want to know if Gerard is dead. And if not, we need to get on that real quick. Well, passing concern that Derek is losing his powers and no longer has a sense of smell, and then that scratch on his arm didn't really heal up that well. This is very concerning. What did Kate Argent steal from you? Like, how did she steal your power? Like, is she rogue or something? Like, I don't understand, but you need to get that back, friend, because if you don't have your werewolf powers, you are just a scruffy hot man with a great chest and pretty eyes. I mean, you could probably still live a pretty good life like that, but like, you've been a werewolf your whole life, so you probably don't really know anything outside of that. So we're gonna have to get your mojo back, like your werewolf juju. You probably need that back. You and Peter, because Peter seems to be off his game a little bit too. I need somebody to get Troy Bolton and Chad Danforth down here to the lacrosse field stat and get the crowd going and a get your head in the game / now or never song and dance routine, because these lacrosse players are looking hella weak. And if Danny was in goal like he should have been and still on the show as a regular, they wouldn't be losing, because Danny is everything and nobody ever stopped him when it came to being goalie, because he was everything. And he took him away from me and I'm not over it. Like, I don't know why he's gone. I just want him back. I need him. He's pretty and Hawaiian and smart. Like, no offense to Mason, we can have more queer representation, but if I had to choose between the two, you would lose every time, little boy. You would lose every time to Danny Mahilani, to Danny my V-necks runneth over, muscles billowing, Danny Mahilani. You would lose to him every time, little boy, every single time. Am I the only one that wonders why Lydia and Malia are like always together? Every episode, it seems like they spend like an indeterminate amount of time together. If she's not with Lydia, then Malia is like sniffing Styles and like doing weird stuff with him. Oh girl, you need to like broaden your friendship scope. I know you were a coyote for 18,000 years, but now is the time to spread your wings. You can't stay up under Lydia forever. She's not that person. Deputy Parrish is so beautiful and perceptive and insightful. He like knows everything and he just takes it in stride. Like when he was like, you think she's a psychic, right? Or yeah, that's what they called him back in the day, like intuitionist. There's something he said. But it was cute because he's just taking all this stuff in stride, and then come to find out he may be more than he is letting on, which is what I assumed from the beginning when he showed up right after the Nematon, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna bring supernatural peeps to our town. I pretty much figured he was something then, but it's like only loosely being confirmed now. Like, bear with me, because I don't know what all kinds of supernatural creatures are gonna come, but I'm thinking that Deputy Parrish might be something like low-key supernatural, like Lydia in her banshiness or Meredith in her banshiness. I'm thinking Deputy Parrish might be like an empath or something, because he's always there and he's always smiling at you and making you feel comfortable in awkward situations. And then he just kind of coaxes information from you and he doesn't really do anything with it. He just keeps it for himself. And he's attractive and it's easy to talk to attractive people. And he just seems like what an empath would be for me. And I feel like it would make a lot of sense to have some, like I said, low-grade supernatural people that can't necessarily rip your throat out. But it could be cool to do something with empathy powers. I'm just saying. This is me in my official prediction that Jordan Parrish is an empath. Yes, Jordan Parrish is an empath. That's me. I'm going on record with that. I love how Lydia is like 1.5% over everything. She is over being the only banshee around in town besides Meredith. She's over people always being like, Lydia, just turn your power on. She's like, it doesn't work that way. Like, I just can't make myself know things. It just has to come to me. So everybody needs to chill out and give Lydia like a little bit of space, because I don't blame her. All these people in my face trying to tell me what to do, trying to tell me, oh my gosh, scream so we can know who's gonna die, would piss me the hell off real quick. My girl, Kira, just scored her goal. She is trying to put the team on the board, and then Finstock has to bench her because, like, it's a scrimmage and teamwork. No, you need to win, and she just gave you a point. So, sorry she's like radiating badassery and took matters into her own hands, because clearly the rest of the team is not performing well. So to bench her was not the best move. You probably lost that game. Probably. I don't think you ever go back to it after like that incident with Garrett and Liam and Brett. Meredith, your V is so hungry for Deputy Parrish. Like, I see it all up in your face. Like, when he approached her and she was like, oh, I don't know. Like, girl, get in line. I understand that, like, you can't really get it in Eichenhaus. I guess you can because Malia and Styles did. But you're going to have to wait in line, because some of us have been here for a while. I have been in this line since Prayers for Bobby, so you need to fall all the way back, homegirl. And Lydia's level of pressness only continues to rise because she is trying to get answers, and Meredith is like douching around. Oh, these are the numbers. I don't know anything else. I mean, she did the best she could. She did better than Lydia, but still, I understand Miss Martin's frustration. And I knew the Calaveras Queen was gonna show up eventually. As soon as Scott sunk his teeth into Liam's arm, I knew her ass was gonna be coming, because she threatened Scott pretty severely in the first episode when she was like, if you take the bite of an innocent, I'm coming for that ass. And here she is with her homeboy. Except Chris Argent's gun is bigger, and we all know that hashtag size matters. It's also sort of interesting now that the Teen Wolf villains are like hiding in plain sight. Like, they figured out that Garrett is the one killing people, and he's just like, yep, that's me. What you gonna do? Smirking and just carrying on. I feel like they need to nip that in the bud, because he's very smug. And smug people make mistakes pretty easily. So it's just a quick with your claws and he's done. Hashtag done. Hashtag dead. Over it. Oh, it pains me to do so, but I must give credit where credit is due. Malia really came through with that whole, oh my gosh, maybe it's like algebra thing where the numbers and letters correspond. I will give you a slow clap because I wasn't sure and you figured it out. Coyote girl. Coyote ugly, whatever you want to be called. You did it. You made yourself useful. I'm proud of you. You did so without having to kill anyone. Good job. That's like life progress for you. So the new code is Aiden. So is this like people that Oni killed, or just people who have died recently, or just people whose names start with the letter A? It could be any number of things. I can't really make a prediction because this show can really just veer off into like whatever direction it wants to go. Like, it could make sense and be like the people the Oni killed, or it could just be people whose name starts with the letter A, like I said. I don't know. I'm just gonna watch and find out. Like, I'm not gonna speculate too hard. So like I said, Brett is also a werewolf and is pretty much about to die. Simple as. And I can respect Violet really being into money because everybody wants to have a little dough. But I need her and Garrett to chill the hell out. You don't have to kill everybody all at once just because you want a new pair of shoes or a new car. That is rude. And She learned a lesson because she came at Scott sideways with that fiber wire heat thing, and he had to let her know. Like, that was the funniest part of the episode, because he grabbed the thing and looked at her like, really? You tried it? And then down she goes. I don't know if she's dead. I'm really indifferent. She could be dead and I could be fine, because I already got Sister Soldier. I don't really need to. Sister Soldier was the original anyways. So, ding dong, the little trick is dead. Or she might be dead. I don't know. Hell if I know. And I will leave you with this. Chris Argent, the Calaveras lady, is not the boss of you. She cannot make you chant things or recite things. Shoot her in the face. Your gun is huge and she is small. Just splatter her little brains all over and just be done with it. Because you know what? We don't need what she's selling. You got the hunting thing in Beacon Hills under control. She needs to go back to Mexico. This is not her jurisdiction. Hashtag girl bye. And to all of my loyal watchers, not a hashtag girl bye, just a regular goodbye. I will see you next week.